Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're reacting to episode 18 of series 2 of Vinland Saga, and I have decided to leave this for last because I know I might cry. I don't think I'll cry anywhere near as hard as I did last episode. I don't think I've cried that hard since Attack on Titan, but I was an absolute wreck, and I made a horrible decision filming that before Full Metal Alchemist because I didn't cry that much at Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood as I thought I would. So mistakes have been made. I lost it. I lost it. Just the fact that in death he reunites with his son. Arnheid did everything that she could to bring him comfort in his final moments, showed such grace and mercy in intervening to save Snake, even though he showed her none. The fact that she only ever wanted to bring him peace in his final moments, knowing that she's not going to escape from this, that she is going to be punished, that there is no way in which she is absolved. And it's going to be hard to see. It's going to break my heart because I think Ketil's going to be really awful to her. I think we're going to see this completely different side because he's very possessive of Arnheid. We've got this image of him as being like quite kind and wanting to forsake violence and move away from it, and also feeling empathy for those in need. But I think the fact that we've seen him with Arnheid, we've seen him basically refusing her freedom, saying that she can't leave him because she's the only one that ever understands him. I think we're going to see this violent, awful nature to him in which he punishes Arnheid because she tried to leave with another man, even though that man was her husband. But still, I think we're going to see a cruel streak to him that we maybe are like shocked by because it just isn't something that we have seen previously, but we'll see it in full force. This brutality, this violence towards a woman because she dares to disobey him, that she doesn't want to stay the rest of her life with him. And it's going to be heart-wrenching because she doesn't deserve it. She's also pregnant, which is going to make it 10 times worse because she's literally carrying a baby. But he's returning to the farm, so I think we're going to see that interaction where he's informed about what happened and that Arnheid was behind freeing him and also tried to help him escape, but he died in the process, and he's not going to be able to forgive her for that. But it's going to absolutely destroy me. She's not making it out of season 2, and I think her death is going to be at Ketil's hands because he's spiteful and vindictive at the idea that she could ever be with another man. He feels like he possesses her. So we're going to see some gendered violence come into it where like he's kind and benevolent to all the men that he interacts with, but when it comes to Arnheid, he feels this level of possession that the idea of anyone else touching her or being with her brings out this jealous side of him, and this jealous side of him manifests into violence where she's not a person, she is an object, and because this object is seen as disobeying him, as not being of use to him, he's going to not be able to control himself, and it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. But that also means we'll see Leif and Thorfinn reunited. But I think this is all building, hopefully, to Thorfinn going home. I think after seeing what happens with Arnheid and how Garda was treated, and seeing Leif again, I think is going to make him realize he has no place here, especially because we know still that Floki is on his way. I think Floki will be part of severing his ties to the farm in general, that he can't see himself staying here, that his purpose is to go home, is to see his family again, and to start creating this village where children aren't raised fearing war, where violence isn't normalized and socialized, where he can start rebuilding what he had a hand in destroying. But without further ado, we're going to get into episode 18. Oh, this is Canute's men. Canute's coming too.
このまま風に恵まれれば2、3日のうちにはケティル
Oh
農
my
場に
god,
到着
Canute's
する
gonna see Thorfinn.
しかし田舎豪族のごときを
Yeah, I didn't think
陛下
Canute
御
was
自
gonna
ら
go.
ご出陣
I thought it was just Floki.
我ら用務戦士団にお任せくだされば十分でありましょう。
抵抗すると思うか、ケテルどもは。王を相手に。
I think
さて、
not so
ケ
much
テルの
Ketil,
戦地で鉄拳とあだ
but
名される
Forgil
噂に
will.
油断はできません。強く懲らしめて民草への見せしめにすべきでは。
逆らうんならば容赦はせぬつもりだ。
Which means if Forgil does defy, which I think he will, that's Canut's excuse.
追い風。
The fact that
Sarada
Sven's laughing
Yutaka.
is because he
求
knows
むる地は
what's
夢
going
で
on in
陶器
his
になる。
mind, that it's a crime against the crown and it's punishable by death. Oh, this is so tense. Oh no, Kettle's back. Oh fuck.
ケティルの旦那のお帰りかと思ったらトールギルさんだ。
He's in the barrel, he refuses to come out.
トールギルさん。おう、土産だ。受け取り。まったく、しょうがねえ親父だぜ。ほら、お公人ども、魚なんぞ干してる場合じゃねえぞ。戦の準備だ。
Oh,
ありっ
gonna
たけ
be
の
all
男
out
と武器を集
bloodshed.
めろ。
This isn't what they want. This isn't what they've asked for.
戦の前にうちとの取引済ませてくれよ。巻き込まれちゃかなわん。その辺のことは親父と相談してくれ。俺は忙しいんだ。
Oh, look at him. He's not recovered, bless him.
俺のそばにいて戦のやり方を覚えろ。嬉しいだろう、オルマル。お
No
前のやりたがってた戦争だぞ。
It's not what he wants. He's done all this to please you and then realized it's not worth it.
あるねえぞ。
Oh, see, this is the thing. He wants Arnheid. It's the only person he wants. And then realizing she's betrayed him, he's gonna lash out.
大丈夫ですよ、きっと。予感がするんでしょう、親父。今度はきっと本物のトルフィンですって。
It is the real Thorfinn.
そう、信じよう。
And he'll not recognize him either because he's changed so much since the last time they met.
数日のうちだってよ。砦の防壁を修理しとけってトールギルさんが。
They don't have the men.
修理ったってお前、こんなもん数日で直せるかよ。つうか相手はどこだ。
それが教えてくれねえんだ。
I think if he said, everyone would leave. If they knew the Yoms Vikings were coming, they wouldn't stay.
工場にはまともな戦争経験者が足りねえもんよ。ついこの間だって貴重な戦士が5人も死んだっつうのに。
旦那、どうするかな。
Oh, we're gonna see. It's not gonna be good. I think he's gonna beat her to a pulp.
やっぱり罰を与えるんだろうか。
Yeah.
死人が多すぎるからな。
I don't think it's to do with how many people died. I think it's to do with her betraying him in his mind.
そんなにひどいことはしないよな。
No. I think he's gonna kill her.
お腹に旦那の子もいるわけだし。
I think he's gonna punish her too far and that there'll be no coming back from it.
いや、ヘビさんたちと戦ってくれたんだろう。アルネイズさんたちのために誓いを破ってまで。どうしても戦わなきゃならない時だってあるよ。
俺はヘビさんが好きだ。優しくて筋の通った人だと思う。ヘビさんと戦いたくなかった。
But you couldn't see them being kept as slaves.
ガルザルさんを死なせてしまった。
You didn't let him die. It wasn't really your fault. You tried everything you could.
もっといい方法があったんじゃないかって。
Oh, poor Finn.
こんなにも人が傷ついて、そんな道を俺は探そうとしたのかって。
You tried, but Snake
あれだ
wouldn't
け
see
で
any
蛇
other
さんが死んでし
way.
まったら
Yeah.
蛇さんだって引けない。
それでも暴力は最後の手段だ。
But I think it was a last resort in that situation. There was no reasoning with Snake.
何が始まりだったんだろ
Look how far
Such-
he's come.
う。最初の手段を見つけられるようになりたい。
I'm so proud of him.
傷つけていい人間なんてどこにもいないんだ。
Because you have no enemies. He's embodying what his father taught him all those years ago without quite realizing. I wonder if we'll hear him say, I have no enemies in season 2. If like he'll actually say the words. Because I will break down. I will sob.
ハルネイズ、どこだ？ハルネイズ。どこだ？
お早いお帰りですのね、あなた。ハラルド王が亡くなったそうじゃありませんか。
ハルネイ
Is
ズ。
she gonna take spiteful pride in telling him?
あの奴隷のアバズレ女なら縛り上げて馬小屋に放り込んでありますよ。あ
Yeah.
なたがいない間に大変なことをしでかしたんですからね。逃亡を企てたんですよ。旦那様へのご恩も忘れてね。
ハルネイズが。
昔の男がやってきて
Her old
手引きしたん
flame.
です。
Her
悪
husband.
人が大勢死にました。とんでもない女さね。
Oh, she's relishing in
この件
this.
いい加減に済ませちゃいけませんよ。
Because her husband
あな
came
た
back and didn't even address her, didn't speak to her, ignored her in trying to look for Arnheid. So she is relishing in making him
なぜだ？
realize that
なぜ
Arnheid tried
何
to
もかも
escape.
わしの手からこぼれていくんだ。逃亡だと。
See what I mean?
なぜだ？
He's furious. First, his son's going against his rules. Now the farm's at risk of being taken away from him, and now the woman he's obsessed with tried to leave.
ケティルさんがトルフィンの解放を約束したんだ。とにかく顔だけでも見
He's
た
so
い。ここにいるの
close.
がわしの探しているトルフィンかどうか知りたいんじゃ。
旦那に確認を取ってからだ。
あんたちょっと一緒に来てくれ。
That's
ケ
so
ティルさんのところに
annoying.
行こう。やはりこんなことを頼めるのは外部の人間のあなたしかいない。失礼ですがレイフさん、奴隷購入の資金に余裕は終わりですか？
Arnheid?
はい、まあ多少トルフィンはただで譲って
Yeah,
もらえ
it's
る
not
約束
Thorfinn.
ですし。
And it's not
旦那様、
Aina.
約束を守る方です。ただアルネイズが難しい。
Yeah, he knows what awaits her if she stays.
トルフィンの他にあと二人、奴隷を身請けしてはいただけませんか？
Two? Is he referring to the children? They weren't slaves, though. Who's he referring to? Does he mean Arnheid and the baby she's carrying, or...?
女が目の前にいるのに手も出せねえなんてよ。神妙なふりしやがって。分かってんだろ、アルネイズ。どうせ旦那はお前の尻を2、3回引っ張
I
っただ
don't
けで
think so.
全部許しちまうよ。
You all say that, and I think he's not going to be. I think this is too deep of a betrayal in his mind.
今頃お前、裸にひんむかれてな。俺たち全員にズタズタに侵されてる。
Oh, you're foul.
殺された仲間の弔い代わりにな。
She didn't kill them, you fucking cretin.
死んだ仲間が浮かばれねえ。
Oh my god, get off her!
何をしている？旦那、帰ってらしたね。
No, this isn't a few spanks. He's gonna beat her senseless.
アルネイズに用がある。逃げようとしたのか、わしから。
I feel sick.
何のためにわしを蔑むか。わしの誇りを奪う者は許さん。たとえそれがお前でもだ。アルネイズ。
You're taking all your frustrations and angers out with everyone else on her.
赤ちゃんがお腹でどうかこれ以上はお許しを。
誰の子だ。
Oh, he's gonna think it's Garda's.
誓って旦那様のお子です。
わしはお前だけを信じていたのだ。信じるとはどういうことだ。
Oh my god.
信じてたと、本物だと思い知らせてくれる。盗とともにこ
Oh
の
my
手
god.
で罰を。
アルネイズ。確かにアルネイズの罪の重さなら棒打ちは当然でしょう。しかしこれ以上殴れば死刑になる。
I don't think he cares. I think that's what he wanted to do.
あんたは彼女を殺す権利を持っている。
But Snake saved her life.
いい
But I think it might be too
なら俺は
late.
この手を棒から離します。
I don't think there's any saving her. I think he's beat her too severely. Oh, Aunt Hyde. She didn't deserve that.
ケティルさん、あの奴隷の娘、いらんのならわしに売ってくださらんか。譲っていただきたい。
Oh, Leif.
誰がいらんと言った。だがアルネイズは売らん。その女は
Oh, I hate you so
わ
much.
しのものだ。
Death would be a kindness. At least she'd be free of all this.
助かるかどうかはわからん。
I don't think she will.
よせ、触るがええなる。
許さんぞ。どいつもこいつも盗人だ。かすめ取ろうと。親父、どこ行ってたんだ。やることは山ほどあるんだ
He's
ぜ。
about to become Iron Fist Ketil all
あと
over again.
俺より具足を。許さん。盗人ども。罰してくれる。たとえそれが王であろうとも。
And here we go, violence becoming the first resort once more. I felt physically sick watching that. I love that they don't shirk away from the horror and the violence, especially when it comes to how slaves were treated and women who were seen as possessions by men. That they show the brutality, but just, I genuinely don't think I've ever felt so like the air was being taken from me watching that. Like, I genuinely felt so connected to it that I felt physically like repulsed, that I was going to react physically. Just the fact that he's so angry and he feels so betrayed that he resorts to the use of violence, and it all ties back to Thorfinn's earlier words of, could there have been another way? Could there have been a different way? Why does violence have to be the first resort? And that's exactly what happened with Ketil. Ketil felt like everyone was betraying him, that everything was slipping through his fingers, and instead of thinking about how can he rationally approach the situation, how can he find a different way, another way, he resorts to violence. He resorts to what he's always known. There's a side of him that he said had forsaken. It immediately comes back when he has nothing else to grasp onto. Everyone's going, Arnheid, he's not going to be mistreating you because you're too dear to him. And he proved them all wrong. And it's just the horror and the shock on everyone's faces because they know how dear Arnheid is to him, that they never anticipated this level of cruelty and violence from Ketil to Arnheid. But it's because they've only ever known this one side of Ketil, but this other side to him has always been there, just underneath the surface. It's always been a part of him that he could fall back on. And when he feels like there's no other way, that this person he's tried to become isn't sufficing, he instantly goes back to the use of violence, instantly resorts to it, and punishes Arnheid in such a cruel, brutal manner. Even when she says she's pregnant, his first question is, well, whose is it? It's not, maybe I should stop beating her because she's pregnant. It's, whose baby is it? And I mean, I'm just saying, even if it wasn't his, surely you should have a level of empathy that would stop you from wanting to harm a pregnant woman. But he doesn't even have that empathy. He's so angry at this perceived idea of betrayal because how can he think that she loves him? She's literally a slave. She's been taken away from everything that she knows and loves. Her freedom's been stolen from her. She's never had a choice to be with you. She has never consented to it. She had no choice. This was non consensual. In his mind, he's like, oh, she loves me. She would never betray me. She's loyal to me. He sees it as being more than what it actually is, which is he is the master, she is the slave. She has no consent, no choice. But when freedom presented itself, when her husband returned, how could she not want to go with him? How could she not want to be free? Of course, she would want freedom. It's the fact that he's incapable of seeing it. He sees it as a betrayal, almost as if she cheated on him. She didn't cheat on him, her husband. And it's the fact that his wife is going, oh, the old flame that returned. It's not her old flame, it's her fucking husband. They're making it seem like a lover, that she was having an affair, that she was sneaking around. Her husband, who she thought she would never see again, the man that was the father to her child that she lost. Of course she's going to want to be with him. Of course she's going to want to have her freedom. Ketil, I hope nothing but bad things happen to you. I hope you suffer a horrendous death. I won't cry for you. You deserve it. You're a horrible, heinous individual. The fact that he can see it as a betrayal, that he thinks she deserves that, is absolutely disgusting. And he's like, no one will take her away from me. She's mine. She belongs to me. Even when he's beaten her that severely because he thinks that she deserves it, because he's taking out all this anger and frustration at feeling that everything's slipping through his grasp out on her, because he can take it out on her because she's his slave, so he can do what he wants to her. And that's the catalyst of it. It's not that she's betrayed him. That's just one of many things. He's thinking of everything that he's experienced in his life, all the hardships. It's flickering back to the woman that he wanted to marry, that his father gave to someone else. And his father basically said, even if you weather out the storm, it still leaves its scars behind. It left its scars behind on Ketil. That now this idea of another woman that he has fallen in love with being taken away from him is incomprehensible, to the point that he would rather kill her than lose her. He would rather her suffer than to set her free, because he's a selfish, horrible individual. I understand that he has had horrible things happen to him and that he lost the woman that he wanted to be with because of his father. But that doesn't excuse his behavior towards Arnheid. That doesn't excuse his perception that she belongs to him, that he can do what he wants to her. It's absolutely disgusting and heinous that he feels that he has that right and authority, that he can treat anyone like that, that it would be better if she died than to potentially lose her because she sought her freedom. The fact that at this point, death would be a kindness for Arnheid because he will never let her go. But at least in death, she would be free. She'd be reunited with her husband and her child. She would have that freedom that this life will not offer to her, that she will not get because he won't let her go. What a horrible man. What a selfish man. I am so viscerally angry because it's the gendered violence, it's the fact that her body is seen as an object that can be used, that can be owned, that she has no autonomy. And I know people are going to argue that she's a slave, so of course she has no autonomy in this society, but she is a woman. She has dreams. She desires freedom. And the fact that anyone could take her autonomy from her, could treat her that way, and there be no consequence for it because she's seen as an object is heinous. The fact that a man could sit and tell her that he would strip her naked and everyone would rape her because of the fact that she sought to free her husband because she didn't want to see him die because it was her husband is foul. I can't fathom it. It's just absolutely horrendous. And I think the gut-wrenching aspect is that this not only happened in history, but this also happens today. You see men that think women are objects, that they own them, that they have the right and authority to them, but also see them as something that they can kill because it's their right to do so, because a woman shouldn't disobey them, shouldn't reject their authority, that they have this power and control over women, that they have the ability to decide if they should live or die. This isn't something that is solely confined to the realm of Viking history. This is something we still see in today's society. This is something women still have to deal with, is sexual violence, but also abuse, violence, that we have to run the risk of being seen as disposable if we don't perform what a man feels that we should perform. But we also have sex trafficking, we also have slavery. It's not something that's erased, it's something that we still have in today's society. And in 2026, this shouldn't be happening. But I think that's what makes me so like viscerally angry, what makes me so like frustrated and upset, is just this idea that he sees her as nothing but something to be owned and disposed of and to be punished because she didn't behave the way that he wanted her to behave, as if she's not a person with thoughts and feelings and desires of her own. I want Ketil to die so goddamn badly, and I know the point is to reiterate what Thorfinn's saying, is that like, why is violence the first alternative? Like, why do people default to violence? We shouldn't be doing that. We should be looking for another way. And Ketil proved his point, is that violence is the first resort that people go to. I'm so angry. I love that Snake intervened. I'm so glad Snake intervened. And he still said to him, like, I know that she's your slave and it's your right to do with her as you please, but this isn't a justifiable punishment. This is akin to an execution. And she saved his life, so he tried to intervene to save hers, but I don't think she's gonna make it. I think she's gonna die. And Aina is gonna be heartbroken because he genuinely hopes that she wouldn't be punished so severely. He thought, well, Ketil cares for her, so he wouldn't ever want to hurt her to this extent. But it just goes to show that he doesn't actually care for her. If you can treat someone that way, you never actually cared for them. You saw them as an object and something to be used. You didn't love them, you were just obsessed with them. It was obsession, it wasn't love. And no one that loves you would ever treat you that way. Never. So the fact is, he doesn't love her. She's just an object. She's just something to be used. I'm crying, not necessarily because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm angry. And it's a horrible habit I have where like I can be so angry at something and still cry. And I hate it because I feel like it devalues what I'm trying to say, and I feel like crying when you're angry kind of diffuses the situation because people see it as a weakness, but it's not weakness. I'm just passionate and I'm frustrated and I'm pissed off. I like the horror of it. I think even the Pater knew or suspected that something like this was going to happen, because that's why he was asking Leif to buy Arnheid, because He knew this could potentially happen. And his wife can go to fucking hell as well. The fact that she was enjoying informing him of what Arnheid did and making it sound way worse than what it actually was, that she'd betrayed him and had an affair. Like, oh, I hope she dies too. I dislike her and I dislike him. And I understand the jealousy that she has because her husband is obsessed with Arnheid. I can understand that she feels anger because he comes home and he doesn't acknowledge her, doesn't even pay attention to her, doesn't even ask how things have been. His first and only thought is Arnheid and returning to her. So she wants to get revenge. She's spiteful in that way. But it just pisses me off the way that she goaded him, that she made it 10 times worse than what it actually was. And I'm not going to accept anyone saying that what Arnheid did was not okay, that she did betray him, because it's not a consensual relationship. It's not a consensual dynamic, and no one deserves to be a slave, and no one deserves to be kept here against their will. Arnheid was completely justified in everything she did, and I will completely stand by that, and I will fucking fight anyone that thinks that it's not justifiable, because it was. And I am absolutely furious and heartbroken and angry, and I hope Ketil dies. I hope he doesn't have any good things come his way, especially because he's resorting to violence and picking up the sword once more to take back and defend what is his. But at the same time, why is violence the first resort? Why is there no other way to compromise? Not that Canute is willing to compromise, because Canute expects them to fight. Canute wants one because it justifies his actions, because they went against the crown and they went against the king, and it's treason, gives him more right and power to take the farm and for it to be justifiable in the eyes of everyone else. And it also sends a message to anyone else whose land he goes to reclaim to maybe not fight him, because they'll lose their lives in the process. So yeah, it's really hard to reason with Canute when Canute's also of the same mindset that violence is a necessary action. But it's all just going to prove Thorfinn's point that no one in this society is willing to find another way, an alternative way. But that's what Thorfinn's going to set his mission to, set his purpose forward for, is ensuring that there are other ways other than violence in this world. And just, this is going to sever Thorfinn and Einar's ties completely with Ketil and Ketil's farm, seeing what he did to Arnheid, seeing his treatment of her and how callous he was, that he wouldn't even fathom letting her go after treating her that way. Just once again proves that this isn't the place for them. This isn't the land for them to rebuild and to create a better society on the fundamentals that violence is not the be all and end all, and we shouldn't glorify it. Thorfinn needs to go home. He needs to go back to his mom. He needs to go see his sister. Einar needs to go with him. I don't think Arnheid's going to make it past next episode, but at this point, I feel like death is more of a kindness to her, because at least in death, she's free. She wouldn't have to suffer this anymore. And Ketil doesn't deserve her. I'm so angry. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye.